5 p.m., and seeing as we have a quorum, I would like to call this meeting to order, the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District Board of Trustees. And at this time, we will now recess into closed session and reconvene at 6 p.m. Turn your mics off. Perfect. It's now 6 o'clock. We are reconvening as our meeting of the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District Board of Trustees from our closed session. And we're calling this meeting to order as we have a quorum. And so at this time, I'd like to ask Mesa to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have one thing to report on action from the closed session, and that's on OAH case 2022040121, and the vote was unanimous. At this time, I'd like to move to the approval of the agenda, additions, deletions, and corrections. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as posted?
Also move.
Motion
I'll second.
and a second. Is there any discussion on that? Any additions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. And now it's time for recognitions and presentations, and the board will recognize Lori Peterson as the Classified Employee of the Month, and and Jocelyn Hernandez as the Certificated Employee of the Month for Pauma School, presented by Principal Dominic Camacho. Mr. Camacho?
Test, test. Can you guys hear me? Is it on? Guys good? All right. Good evening, Board President Adams, Board of Education, Superintendent McCowan, Cabinet, parents, teachers, and community members. It is my utmost pleasure to introduce Pauma School's Classified Employee of the Month, Mrs. Lori Peterson. Lori has been working at Pauma School for the past 7 years. Wait a minute, time out. Where'd she come up with me? I thought she was behind me. What are you doing? Get over here. Give it up. I thought she was following me when you called her. I'm not nervous. It's all right. Thank you, Lori. All right, let me start. Lori has been working at Pauma School for the past 7 years and is the only school site she has ever served. Prior to coming to Pauma, her experience is 9 years in skilled nursing, 8 years of pediatric home health. She took time off prior to joining the Pauma family to raise her own children, Kylie, Cody, and Carrie. She lives with her husband, Ron, in Temecula and enjoys their visits to their 2 grandkids in Tennessee twice a year. Lori is one of 3 of our front office staff, and during these tough times, I call it the front lines because they are the ones who take the first calls that are good, bad, and unfortunately ugly. She is the utmost professional each time as she calmly answers the questions and follows our policies and procedures. She is one of the hardest working people I know and often have to remind her to take her breaks. She strives for perfection in all that she does. She has one of the toughest jobs in our school as she has to ensure all who enter our school are healthy and safe and at the same time taking care of her own health. When asked what Lori loves most about her job, she answered without hesitation, "I love the kids, their smiles, hugs, and the fact that they need me. That's what keeps me here." Here are a few things staff had to say about Lori. Lori is the most caring person I have ever met. She has been so busy the last couple of years and yet would drop everything to help any of us. I don't know how she does it all. She is a hero, caring, loving, and she genuinely cares about our students. When I asked the students how they felt about Miss Lori, here are some of their responses. "She always fixes me so I can get back to recess. She fixed my bug bite and made it all better. Sometimes I just go because she'll give me a snack for my tummy. She is the best nurse in the entire universe." Please join me in congratulating Lori Peterson as Pauma School's Classified Employee of the Month.
Thank you. I'm very lucky to work for such a great school district, and I love my Pauma kids, and our Pauma staff is just so amazing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Jocelyn Hernandez up, please. All right. For Pauma School Certificated Employee of the Month, Ms. Jocelyn Hernandez. Jocelyn has worked in our district for 5 years in grades TK through second, and all at Pauma. Before becoming a teacher, she worked for 2 years as a preschool aide in the Escondido Unified School District. Jocelyn was born and raised in Escondido with her mom Norma, dad Nehemiah, and her brother Rospin. She currently resides in Escondido with her 3 dogs, Rocky, Cookie, and Perla. As the principal, I get the opportunity to witness her in action as she engages her students in all her lessons. She is highly effective in her lesson delivery and adapts to all student needs through her small group instruction and targeted interventions. She's an advocate for all students, and that was demonstrated earlier in the year, where she did all she could for a particular student, utilized our resource team, and exhausted every intervention available. She led the team to get our student assessed so that he would get what he needed to be successful. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you. Jocelyn's favorite part of her job is when she gets to see their growth through the year, when they become these little independent learners. Her words, the relationships I form with these little humans, I want to be the guide to their future, and not just higher education, but all possibilities, whether it be trade school or the Army, because all jobs are honorable. Jocelyn is a true believer in the power of yet. Some of my students can't do it yet, but they will get there, and I'll do everything I can to help them along the way. Her colleagues had this to say. Jocelyn dedicates herself to our Pauma staff and students. She supports her colleagues and offers a lot of her time to helping new teachers familiarize themselves with our curriculum and lesson planning. She is kind and generous and truly makes me feel a part of something bigger, a part of the family. I want to share with you what her students said they love about Ms. Hernandez. When we do art, she makes it fun. She helps me with my Spanish, doing math, and she is so kind to me. She always helps us with math and just everything. She makes me love science and art. And lastly, she is so pretty and cute and nice to us. Please join me in congratulating Jocelyn Hernandez as Pauma's Certificated Employee of the Month.
I'm too short for this, but yes, thank you so much, and I appreciate all of those kind words. And honestly, I wouldn't be such a great teacher without all the Pauma staff. They have helped me grow so much, and I appreciate all of them so much. Thank you.
Now, before we get our presentation going, I'd like to introduce our math TOSA, Sarah Songer. Sarah has been and continues to be a huge support to myself and our entire staff. We are pleased to share a snapshot of what our math curriculum and our Bobcat family looks like in words of the kids. Sarah. Give it up for Sarah, please.
Thank you all for being here. Hopefully you get a snapshot of our Pauma staff and students through the lens of mathematics.
At Pauma School, we use our Eureka Math as core curriculum. We have 3 different books, our Learn, Practice, and Succeed. Javi is going to show you how he uses his 3rd grade fluency book in the classroom.
Okay. I use my math book by, if I'm doing fractions, I would split it into one whole, or 1/3. Also, I use my fluency one for practice.
Of math facts?
Yeah, of math facts.
What types of facts do you learn in 3rd grade?
I learn multiplication. I learn division. I learn fractions. I learn. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Ulysses is going to explain how he uses the 3rd grade Learn book in his classroom.
Okay, so most things when I'm doing fraction and sometimes I forget, I can use my fraction strip to help me out. And also, this is how I mostly do for math.
Do you do this book on your own, or do you work with your teacher on this book?
I work with my teacher on the book. She helped us get the answer. Then we have to solve the others too.
On your own, you solve the other ones?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ulysses. Students also have their Succeed book. In the Succeed book, we have homework that is sent home and has homework helpers so that students and families have helpful hints at how they are to do that night's assignment. The helpful hints go right along with the activities in the homework book.
Hi, my name is Brianni Barr, and I'm working on iExcel, which is a math app that helps me practice for math. And at the end of each lesson, I get to see my results, and that result turns into a grade later on Infinite Campus, which becomes a grade.
I'm Scott, and I am working on this. If you get it right, you will move on to the next part of the lesson. But if you get it wrong, you will have to go back and do the lesson over again, but in a different form. You see until where certain things, if it helps you achieve the new level. And as soon as you finish all 4 lessons in it, you will move up your lessons bar, and you will get badges. When you get all your when you get 3 badges, you will get a prize.
9 boxes. Go. You got Mari. 3, 6, 9. Desborren esos dos que tengo. Dame mejor nivel. Hazlo bien, es muy lindo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Le ponemos 9. Yo les voy a ganar. Ah, hiciste lo mismo, papi. Me dices, ya ves. Hiciste lo mismo. Okay. Okay, so Miss Vargas has. We need to skip count by 9. Yeah. Okay. 9, 18, and 27, and 36, 45, 54, 63, and 72, and 81, and 81, and not 80.
Teachers are able to assign digital assessments and view digital assessment data through our Great Minds platform. Teachers have a variety of report options, including summary reports to view performance data, individual student reports, and standard reports. Different levels of reports help drive instruction, whether it be for the whole group, small group, or individualized instruction. Okay, is that it? So it's making your... All right, so now you can add that in 10. What number? 15.
What do I do with A?
Okay, so which one is the alligator eating? Which one's bigger?
He's 2. And then I sliced them all together, and they made a 6.
me. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them. We are the Bobcats. Mighty, mighty Bobcats.
Thank you.
Dominic, one of the things I'd like to bring up is I really appreciated in there watching both paper work being done with the students using, pen and paper, and then also the computer, and not just a mix of one or the other. So I thought that was very impressive in the video there, Mrs. Songer and Dominic.
I'd like to give it up to my staff. Thank you, staff, for doing all you do for our kids.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. Yeah, well done. At this time, we take a short recess. For those who came for the recognitions who would like to leave, you may do so at this time if you'd like, or you can stay.
So number 3 here.
I have it right here. Yeah. I wrote it down.
You gotcha.
You done? Okay. All right, at this time, we have guidelines to address the board, and again, I say I should have this memorized by now, but I have to read this paragraph here for addressing the board. Members of the public are encouraged to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any items on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. In order to conduct district business in an orderly and efficient manner, the board requires that public presentations to the board comply with Board Bylaw 9323, which includes the following. Members of the public wishing to address the board must complete a request to address the board paper prior to the meeting and give it to the board secretary. The board's president will recognize each person who has a request to address the board at the proper time and invite them to speak from the podium. Speakers must announce their names prior to addressing the board. All comments are limited to a total of 3 minutes per person, or 20 minutes per item, and there's a thing there that shows the 3 minutes. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the Board of Trustees and staff's ability to respond to comments on items that are not on the agenda. The board may not legally take action on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. And if there are concerns regarding specific individuals, it is preferred that the speaker refrain from naming them publicly to respect their privacy. Please note that once the board closes the public input time on an agenda item, only the board and staff are involved in subsequent discussions. Thank you. And our first person today is Dana Brown.
Thank you very much. My name is Dana Brown. I'm here on the beautiful land of Payum-Kawichum. My husband and I live in Kumeyaay Nation here in San Diego County. As I shared last month, I only learned 5 years ago the first governor of California, Peter Burnett, was formerly an Oregon slave-owning family and was fighting for the exclusion of all African Americans in Oregon, and an early proponent for the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the first public immigration law in the United States. And so when Peter Burnett said in an address to legislature, we should wage a war of extermination between the two races until the Indian race becomes extinct, and his quote and the genocide that happened, and then when Governor Newsom apologized to the Native Americans in California for the genocide of the indigenous nations and peoples and said he wants truth-telling in public education, please recall I shared about the San Diego County Board of Supervisors declaring racism a public health crisis in San Diego County, and what we know that racism is not biological, 0%. It's a social construct by design from the dominant culture. So when we look at epigenetics and the science and the research behind epigenetics, the moment that a female finds out that she's pregnant, she has in her DNA the survivance and the historical trauma from her family's ancestors, and she's carrying forward the in the DNA of her for her children and her children's children and her children's children's children. And so we know what science and research is proving about epigenetics is so critically imperative that we look at the social construct and the historical trauma of where people have been born. None of us have a choice in where we're born. We're born where we're born. And this deepened understanding is really exciting and hopeful right now, that there's a lot of individuals, thousands, I'm blessed to serve with many of them around the nation, that are truly dismantling systemic racism and decolonizing our young nation. The indigenous nations have been here for tens of thousands of years, and I'm a fifth generation immigrant. So I'm very passionate about raising this awareness and truth-telling. I would like to be of service if I could help in any way. I chatted with the superintendent when you came to introduce yourself. I really would like to help be part of the solution on behalf of all children here in Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District, especially our children of color and our Native youth. So please allow me to be of service, just like Dr. Anthony Arpico mentioned last month. He would like to be of service. I'm on the Warrior Spirit Family Leadership Team, humbled and grateful, someone who's a non-Native, identifying as white, and I would like to be of service in support of Valley Center-Pauma Center Unified School District. So please share with me how I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Our next speaker is Maria, no last name given. Is there a Maria here? No? Okay, well, I'll move along in case they come later. I can put it on. Alexander Hahn would like to cede your time to Antonio.
Is that correct? Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's what it says on the paper.
It's okay, you know, and I spell it with an I, Tony with an I, too.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, thank you so much. My name is Antonia Isa Lajera. I've been here before, I'm a lifetime educator. Thank you for having us. I know it's the end of a long and challenging year, and I consider people in education first responders, so I want to thank everyone for their service, okay? Thank you very much. It's hard work that we do. But what's kept me up at night for my 40 years in this profession is how do we meet the needs of every single student on our watch? Because that's our charge here in education. How do we meet their needs? And we haven't done a very good job of it anywhere, right? We keep trying. I think we have lots of wonderful people in education. Our hearts are in the right place. We want to do the right thing. But I don't think we have the knowledge and skills and ability to do it for all students, for everyone who walks through our door. And in leadership, we would call that an adaptive challenge. We don't have the knowledge and skills, and we keep throwing technical fixes, right? Well, if we just give them one-on-one laptops, well, if we just give them this, it will make a difference. But if there's one thing I've learned during the pandemic is that we normalize some things and we learn some things that I want to carry forward as we move forward. And one of them is that I can tolerate no more racism. I cannot, as a white person, stand by any longer. And I feel as if my life's work has always been in urban Los Angeles. I have done my life's work. I have mixed race kids, and yet I haven't done enough because we've asked BIPOC people to solve the problem of racism in this country, and it is our job. So I want us to think carefully about how we approach this work and how we might best train our very overstretched teachers and boards and everyone else. How can we give people the knowledge and skills they need in order to meet the needs of our students that are coming through our door? So I brought something today that I'm going to pass out in a minute. San Diego State just did a conference on, it was the Black Symposium, Researcher Symposium. So it's new research coming out of San Diego State on what's happening to our children of color at schools and everywhere. And what the research is saying is that because explicit and implicit bias exists in all of us, it exists in all of us. We are constantly having to be aware of our own biases. If I have one mantra every year, is it, may I be less judgmental? May I learn to just approach everything with an open heart and mind? It's so hard to do. But one of the things that happens is it's easy to point the finger and say, oh, those difficult kids, or oh, those kids, or oh, this. And what happens is that falls under the umbrella of white supremacy, and we don't want to do that. We want to be aware of what that looks like. And it plays out in microaggressions, and we're not even aware of it, right? We're not even aware of it sometimes. Oh my gosh, she's Asian, so of course she's organized. Or oh my gosh, she's this. We have these things, these tapes that go, these stereotypes in our heads. And we want to work on that because the kids coming to our school are facing that every day. And what happens as a result of that is we get all this aggression, all this stuff.
She gets an
that
extra
goes
3
on.
minutes.
That's fine. I'm fine. I just would like you to look at this, and I also would love to help in any way I can. Our children of color really need the experts to train us all in how to best meet their needs. So thank you very much. I just want to
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Maria here still, or?
Maria's going to cede her time to our friend Juan, but Juan has not arrived.
Okay, all right, well then, we have to move on. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and you see it here before you. At this time, we have item I. I'd like to call your attention to the personnel listing as presented. I'd like to officially announce before we vote on it that Veronica Ruiz has been appointed as the permanent principal of the primary school. Veronica, congratulations, and she's right back there. She's married. I know her as Veronica Reese. She used to be a student, so I still think of that. But she's a product of our school district, K-12 all the way through, and we're proud to say she served as a teacher and a TOSA and everything, and now a principal. Makes us very proud that you, of this. I know you'll do a really spectacular job. So congratulations and thank you, Veronica, for taking that position.
And first administrator.
And the first administrator who has graduated from this district, who has graduated from Valley Center High School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
Also move.
There's a motion, and is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Member Beneman? Aye. Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. Okay, we'll move to the superintendent's report. Mr. McCowan?
Okay, let's see if my clicker and everything's going to work today. The first slide I have up here is just reporting on some of the events that took place this last couple of weeks here at our school district. One of them was our guitar club, which really this year existed of a lot of dancing and singing by our second grade classes, and so that was a lot of fun. This was in the Maxine, and one of the neat things about this event is they do one show just for the high school kids. So a lot of the classes will bring their students down, and they get to cheer for their siblings and other kids. And there's actually one really neat part in this where one of the young men was doing kind of a solo dance thing, and it was pretty cool to watch the kids' reaction to this. So it's great to be back in our Maxine. It's great to be doing these events after such a long layoff. Our next slide here is our reclassification ceremony. This is where our migrant ed and ELD students get reclassified, and we had 95 students, or 98, excuse me, reclassify this year. And one of the neat things about this ceremony is we've got some real little guys there that are reclassifying in the first and second grade, but we also have graduating seniors that are still reclassifying. So it's one of the only awards type thing we have where you see literally K through 12 students being awarded on the same night. So that was really special.
Ron, can I ask a question? What does it mean to reclassify?
I'll let Mel. You probably can give a better explanation of.
Sorry, what are they reclassifying?
The reclassification
I just don't know.
Yeah, no, good point.
Sorry.
Everybody. Yeah.
I have to tell you, I don't know all of the criteria for reclassification. Mesa can probably help us, but basically what happens is the students come in as English learners, and there are certain criteria, Mesa, if you can just share with us. And once they hit those marks, then they reclassify to English learning. But we still follow them through to make sure they are continuously successful. So Mesa, can you just share the criteria, because I don't have those off the top of my head.
Right, so thank you for asking. So it's basically the transfer from the initial placement as an English learner to an English only, just like what Dr. Robertson said. And there is some criteria that falls under teacher's feedback, ALPAC scores, and just like Dr. Robertson said, we watch for 4 years to ensure that the English proficiency is still proficient.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you. That's it.
So now that you know exactly what would occur that night, it was a great and very fun night and exciting to watch the kids. Thank you for your help. Our next slide here, this is of the JAG auction, which happened on April 23rd. You can see a couple pictures there of us trying to raise some money. We raised literally around $60,000. And what's neat about the JAG auction, as I've explained before, is that the JAG auction is ran by our foundation, which is an umbrella organization that oversees all clubs and organizations at the high school, including sporting clubs, band, any of our ASB clubs. And this year we raised close to $60,000. And one of the people here, Julie Stroh, one of our board members, has been part of the foundation since we first started and developed and got the bylaws for the foundation, and has also ran every one of our auctions since. And I think that's probably going close to the 23rd or 4th auction. Is that right? Yes. And Mark Hellwood and I had a great time emceeing and auctioning it. So lots of thank you to our community that came in and graciously spent well over what certain things were worth. For instance, we sold, well, no, this was more than worth what it sold for. But we sold an apple pie made by our culinary arts class for $150. And in fact, we sold, I think, 2 of those and 2 cheesecakes for a
2 sets of 2 dozen cookie dough, and they made almost $1,200.
And all that money
Good
that,
auctioneers.
yeah, that money goes in that case, because it was put on by the culinary arts, actually goes to their club. So it's kind of neat the way it's ran. But thank you to the community for coming out and supporting us.
And can I say one thing? Any, just so they know, any group at the high school, any organization can be a part of it. You get your money by selling tickets and getting auction items. So it goes to any group that wants to be part of it. It's a whole combination of all different music, sports, whatever, all different groups. So,
Thank you. This here was on May 10th. We held kind of a mental health awareness night and also dealing with suicide prevention. We were lucky enough to have some great speakers there that are recognized on the screen, both from inside our community with our local fire chief, local sheriff, our sheriff chaplain. Also, we had Indian Health here. We had San Diego what's called CHIPS, who's suicide prevention, and also our own Jim and Penny Dorschel presented on their experience, unfortunately, dealing with suicide in the aftermath. So it was attended, very well attended. In the middle pictures, you can kind of see there's some tables outside. We probably had about close to 14 different tables set up with information for parents and students to get on mental health flyers on things that they can do if they're in need of mental health, and then also with the suicide prevention information there. So very well attended. And also we had a nice presentation from the school district to deal with the counselors that we have got and the additional counselors plus social workers and our whole counseling team. So thank you, Doyen and Nancy, for helping to put that on. Next, I was going to be done with COVID slides, but I did have to bring them back this time, mainly because I wanted to point out a little bit of an uptick we've had in our own school district. So we still stay to our commitment up there of providing a safe environment and supporting supportive and then having our educational opportunities. Excuse me. So the next slide here, we have our dashboard, and I can't really read it from here because I don't have my well, they wouldn't work here, but we're up to 18, I believe, on that bottom number. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, we're up to 18. 14 of those are at the high school. And one of the things we had happen at the high school is we had an outbreak with one of our groups. Those numbers are now starting to come back down. So we've seen that kind of level off. At one point, we were up to 24. But I just wanted to point that out and let the board know that we have taken extra precautions, and you know, we're still moving forward. We did have to, unfortunately, cancel JAG Idol, which is a very huge event on our campus, and our pep rally because we didn't want to bring high school kids together when we didn't know how much of a breakout we had. But I think our high school principal and ASB director did a great job, and both of those events kind of got meshed into one thing at a lunchtime for all the students. So it was more of an outdoor activity, and I think it went over very, very well. well. With the numbers coming back down, we are looking forward to the prom this weekend for our juniors and seniors, which will be at the Lowe's Center in Coronado. So we're excited about that. Now, the next set of slides I want to do is I want to go through and with the board and explain some of the things that we are doing with our Title VI Parent Advisory Group and some of the things that we've put together for our Native American students and our Native American parents and families. But one of the things I want to do to start off with, and I don't have a slide for this, but tonight we have a very special ceremony going on for our graduating seniors, and that's their Eagle Feather ceremony tonight. And it's one that we've often been invited to, and it's a bigger group, but they've really kind of narrowed it down because of COVID. But we do want to recognize that we have a total of, we have 5 students that are there graduating from VC Prep. We have 11 students that are attending that are graduating from Oak Glen. We have 21 from the high school graduates and 2 from adult ed. So we wanted to congratulate those students. And I would say that it's one of the most special graduation type events because what they do is they take pretty much every graduating senior in the county, and I think they even dip or go up a little bit into Riverside too, and they award our students different things. Well, first they get their Eagle Feather, but the other thing is they give out several main scholarships, plus they announce a valedictorian and salutatorian. And over the years, we've done very good there. So this, when we come back in June, when we talk about the different scholarships and stuff, we will recognize some of our students because I'm sure some of them will be recognized there this evening. So shout out to them. Our objectives tonight is we want to go over a little bit about our Title VI Parent Advisory Committee and what the purpose is. Learn a little bit or look at our learning supports for students, attendance, supervision, and other means of correction, what we're doing in the area of staff development, activities across the districts, and the importance of our partnership moving forward. So with that, I want to introduce first, this is our Title VI Parent Advisory Committee. So we actively consult and involve the parents of the tribes of our Native American students regarding the planning and development of the Title VI educational program for our district. This is done in several different ways. It is done pretty much once a month. We have a kind of an executive group with our Title VI advisory group that consists of the president, vice president, and secretary. They meet with our special projects coordinator, Mesa Batar, Dr. Batar, and they plan what the agenda will be for the night, and then we hold those meetings, and I believe they are monthly, and so that's how we get our input. We also, as we go through here, you'll see where we use the input from our Title VI parents throughout the stuff that we implement. So next is our learning environment and support for student well-being. So we have spaces that are in partnership with our education centers at every school to engage with our students. Each school has a designated classroom as needed that is available for our educational partners for the use of various activities. Some of these activities include tutoring, classroom or lunchtime activities. Some of these activities will take place outside in the playground and at other open areas where students can work with their advisor to create space. So, and I guess at the high school and middle school, we don't call it the playgrounds. We call it at the lunch activities out in the lunch yard. And so that's one of the things. The other thing I want to point out on this is something that's new to us this year. This is our teacher on special assignment at the middle school. And that teacher is Stephanie Martinez. I think Stephanie's here with us tonight. Stephanie, did I see you walk in? Thank you, Stephanie. So what Stephanie's purpose is, and what we call it a TOSA, teacher on special assignment, her focus is really this year has been concentrated at the middle school and on all students, but a specific focus with our students who have low grades with either doing a push in support of those students or doing small group tutorials. She constantly communicates between the families, our Title VI team, the ed centers, our counselors, our teachers, and our administrators to make sure we have open lines of communications. She holds weekly club meetings there for the Native American Club, which consists of different activities and guest speakers coming in. I think this last Wednesday we had Dr. Elena Hood that came in and gave a little talk on college and career readiness. She's also, the club is active in setting up booths and doing different things around school when they have dances and different things. And then also, as far as learning and supporting the kids, they had a trip to Cal State San Marcos in April, and they have one more trip planned this year to UCSD, which is going to occur in May. So the kids I know are looking forward to that. Attendance, suspensions, and correction, means of other correction. So suspension data is one that we have been following as a district and by each school site individually. This data is being reported to our Title VI committee each month, as well as part of our attendance committee, which is that is led, I'm sorry. So we share this information with our overall Title VI committee, and then we also share it with a special subcommittee within our Title VI group of our our Mesa Batar, and then also boy, I'm fumbling my way through this. I'm going to start it over one more time. We have a special subcommittee within Title VI that Mesa works with, Dr. Batar, and our Title VI parents that are looking at attendance and suspensions and trying really to get down to the root cause of why we have attendance and suspension issues, and then trying to figure out different plans to come at that with other means of corrections and other ways of getting students encouraged to come to school and attend school. Some of the examples, we have some up there if you can read the different ones there. We do talk, and I know there's been questions about searches. We do not keep data on student searches. Student searches are done based on ed code. We work with our parents and our students through those, and it's a student privacy thing, and it's not something that we will be reporting out on. The next slide is our professional development, and so we have also been working with the subcommittee of the Title VI committee with our district staff to identify staff development focuses for the district. This collaboration will continue as we try to better serve our students. I'm not going to read each one of the first two purposes, but the bottom one there, one of the professional developments that we went through as a school board is that during our board workshop last month, we had a great presentation by Professor Patricia Dixon, Dr. Lena Hood, Karina Coyote, and also Shannon Bajorquez, which served to help deepen the understanding of our school board of the local Native American ways and teachings and of learnings based on assets in our classrooms. So it was a really nice process that I think we went through as a board, and it was very informative. And if any of you guys have gotten a chance to hear a lecture from Professor Dixon, she's a very good lecturer and really does a great job. So initial steps launched for the 22-23 school year. Our ed centers are working and developing on videos that would be specific for staff development of their specific tribes and reservations that would be about 10 minutes long. We also have all the staff at the beginning of the year will be invited to a half-day presentation presented by our local representatives focused on history, culture, and supporting Native American students' success. We are working with our Title VI parents to make this more of a maybe an event where we have lunch afterwards and get time to have one-on-one conversations also instead of just this classroom setting. And then the other thing that we're moving for the beginning of next year is that all staff will receive the same presentation from Professor Patricia Dixon, Dr. Lena Hood, Katrina, and Shannon Bajorquez for all of our staff, starting with the first day back, working with our secondaries, and then our elementary schools working on an ERD day so that they can all experience the same thing that you as a school board went through. Trainings and professional development opportunities. This is kind of a list of some things that we are working on that aren't necessarily with local through our Title VI, but our whole administration staff has been, we be completed the third option training by Miles McPherson, which is a well-renowned, in fact, CIF uses it. We have a couple of board members that are going through the training also. Of how to better blend our campuses and get our campuses to work together, and really being able to recognize, and I think what you had mentioned earlier, Mrs. Brown, that the underlying biases that we all have, and recognizing those biases and how do we work with each other to overcome those biases. So it's a very good training. We also have training through the County Office of Education and Native ways of knowing, cultural proficiency, case studies on the diversity and social justice education, and you can see who's presenting those. So moving forward, what we are looking at, these are some of the actions that will continue moving forward, and we will be working collaboratively to identify additional initiatives and actions to support our Native American students. And you can see there that we will continue our visits out to the ed centers, continue collaboratively meeting with our Title VI community members. We will be listening to our voices of our students and families, and to an extent there, we are working with our Title VI group, and through a suggestion is trying to indigenize our surveys so they'll be more representative, and we'll hopefully get better responses or more responses. We are looking forward to further family nights with our Native American groups on the different reservations, which can be a great time for us to be able to share some visiting time together that's not always based around school stuff. Continue data monitoring and planning, developing plans for the systems, and I won't read through the rest of those, but we're going to continue to provide trainings for our staff, and some of those will be adjusted as we find new trainings and different trainings, because it's not uncommon for the county office not to come up with additional trainings that we then can take part of, and a lot of those are very easy and for our administrators and teachers to be part of. So the next slide here, I just have a thank you slide here, and we had an incident at our middle school the other day, and it's one that we are working with our Native American community, and we're going to get over, and the basis of it, and I had talked to the board about this before, was we had a plan from some students that were going to recognize MMIW during the day that it's recognized, which is May 5th, which unfortunately I didn't know at the time, and neither did our school administrators. And so what ended up happening was some unfortunate and completely inappropriate and unacceptable comments were made to those students. And so we had to take action that day, and then as we followed up with that, we had the students that went out of class on Monday, and they voiced their opinions and what they felt and how they felt about the event and what happened, and we've listened to that. And then one of my big thank yous go out to, we met with a couple of tribal council members and a couple of the elders after Monday, and we developed a plan to work with our students on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to estimate that we had about 20 different elders and elders, community members, and then also some of our chair people, men and women from our different councils that came in, and we were able to listen to the students and hear their concerns and work with them. And I know that Stephanie Martinez will be continuing this work as we try to find a way that we can better, as a district and as a school, educate all of the school over what the event was there to stand for, and make sure that they understand why the actions that the students do, which for this event they have paint, the face paint, and they also were wearing their regalia, their beautiful regalia, and why they would be wearing it that day, so they would have an understanding of it, and hopefully we could keep really unfortunate and ignorant type comments being made. So continue to work in that direction and help our students, both the presenting it and then also our students being able to understand exactly what it's about, students and staff for that matter. But the big thank you goes out to our group of adults that came in and really helped us as a district to be able to accomplish and move forward in this area. The last thing I would like to do here is our VC. I would like to, excuse me, please don't interrupt our meeting. Please don't interrupt it. As a district, our final slide here is we are committed to the success of our Native American students in partnership with our Native American community with suggestions on best practices that meet the needs of our student learning. We can continue to grow in an environment where our students can meet and exceed the learning standards and be successful in our schools. So that's where we're moving, and I think we've got a great team to work forward both at the district and both with our Title VI parents. Do I have any questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your report. Thank you. I'd like to move to item B, the review of the governance handbook for 2022, the renewal of that. Do we have a motion to carry that forward? The governance handbook.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? You're making revisions right this year. Okay. All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Member Beneman?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh? Aye. And Member Adams votes aye. I'd like to take a look at the graduation and promotion schedule. we'd like the board members to plan their attendance at these promotions and. Oh, sorry, my bad. Now it's on.
You don't have to repeat everything.
No. So Nancy, our secretary, will send out a sign-up sheet for everybody to see which promotions and graduations hopefully you can attend, hopefully all or most of them. The middle school will be on the 14th at 9:30 a.m., not in the afternoon when it's hot, at the middle school field. Pauma School will be Wednesday the 15th at 9 a.m. at Pauma. VC Prep, as they did last year, will have a separate one. That's on June 15th at 10 a.m. In front of the prep school office, which is, the old elementary. And you'll notice that the middle school one is the day before all the other graduations to make it easier to attend everything. On the high school graduations, Oakland and VC Prep will be on Wednesday, the 15th at 4 p.m. at the Maxine Theater, as it used to be. I'm glad the COVID thing is over. And Valley Center High School will be Wednesday, the 15th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the high school stadium. So those are the times, and you'll get a sign-up sheet, board members, for attending of those things here. We have a first reading of the following items to be approved at the next board meeting. Item A is revised AR 3311, which is the regulation updated to reflect changes to the procedures for advertised and competitive bidding processes. Item B is the new AR 3311.1, which is the regulation adopted to establish the procedures for awarding contracts for public works. Item C is new BP 3311.1, which is the policy adopted to establish the procedures for awarding contracts for public works. And finally, the new AR 3311.4, the regulation adopted to establish the procedures for procurement of technological equipment. These will be brought back to the board for a second reading at the meeting of June 23rd, at which we will consider them for approval. Item E is the board will conduct a second reading of the following revised board policies and administrative regulations, which were in your packet. Revised AR 5125 student records. Item B, revised board policy 6158 regarding independent study. And item C, revised AR 6158 also regarding independent study. And these were presented for a first reading at the last meeting on April 21. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Also move.
Okay. And a second by Julie? Okay. Any discussion on those? You're in your packet. All right. I'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And number 7, educational services, we have the A through G Completion Improvement Grant Program. Okay, so is there a motion for that one?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is approved. And a second?
I'll second.
Discussion on the A through G Completion Improvement. This is a grant from the state or the feds? Who can answer that?
From the state.
From the state? Okay, very good. All right, if we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. And item B, we have the new high school course for next year, the Advanced Placement World History and Advanced Placement for Psychology, so we can add 2 more of those classes to students who wish to take them. We had that shown last month, so do we have a motion for that, to approve those?
Also move.
Thank you. Member Paul, and is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. All right, is there any discussion on those 2 items? That one item. All right, then, I'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And item C, we have the adoption of the new high school math core curriculum for Algebra 2. That's the first reading, and now we've had Eureka Math for all the way through Algebra 1, and so now it's being moved up also to, for the same type of program to Algebra 2. So that'll be, this is the first reading for that. And then item D is the Department for Rehabilitation Resolution number 2021-2022-18. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there a discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. As far as the Human Resources Division, item 8, we have to have the declaration of a need for fully qualified educators, which is the annual resolution we must approve to be fully credentialed teachers, of course, the state requirement. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
For fully qualified certificated
I'll second.
educators, and a second. Okay, I will call for the, any discussion on it? There's no change from previous ones. Okay, Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. We have a different position now for the Child Nutrition Services Operations Specialist. So this is under the current administrator, is that correct? For food services? Okay. So that's for that position. Do I have a motion for that job description before it's posted?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Paul, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on the item? So this is a new job. Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. Item C is the reduced workload program for the certificated positions. For those who qualify and would like to do so. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Paul, okay. Any discussion before we vote? No? Okay. Let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. For the advanced planning, we have a special board meeting that is set for Monday, June 20th, as we always do. And then the next meeting is, the regular meeting will be on June 23rd, both at 6 p.m. right here in the Media Center. Okay, so now I have to call for adjournment. Is there a motion?
Also move.
And a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? No, usually? Okay. All right, I'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. This meeting is adjourned.